Here's somebody named 14, age 14. 5 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
I took my 14-year-old to see this, and we both absolutely loved it. It takes 3 genres that generally do not go together and creates an amazing story with awesome songs. I highly recommend watching it if you're teen or higher. If you're a teen or higher.
Yeah.
I would say I highly recommend watching it if you are a teen and high. All right, everybody, welcome to Nerds of a Certain Vintage. As always, I am Patrick.
And I am Andy.
And we are nerds who are here for our podcast proper for Sunday, December 15th.
All right, well, welcome to our second movie of Christmas month.
Christmas horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, listen, gory, yes. Horror, I'm not sure.
Well, horror is an open-ended kind of term.
That's pretty good.
I think if it was a zombie movie.
Yes.
We watched Anna and the Apocolypse.
Right.
And if it's a zombie movie, it's a horror movie. But okay. I appreciate what you're saying. The musical aspect of it. Yeah, the musical aspect of it kind of takes the horror element away. But there was still, murder and mayhem galore.
Yeah,
right?
it's tough to be afraid of the zombies when the biggest villain in the whole movie was the principal of the school.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, let's do a quick summary of the movie.
Okay.
Angsty teens.
Mm-hmm. In a Scottish school.
Approaching graduation, trying to figure out what they're going to do with their lives when suddenly a zombie apocalypse happens.
Right.
And I saw some other person that had reviewed it and said that they had to figure out what was most important to them based on the zombie apocalypse.
I didn't buy that.
I felt like that was a little excessive, but
it's a little stretch.
There's an aspect of that. There was an aspect that they kind of realized that their angsty shit really doesn't mean anything when they're zombies.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but once again, they're angsty teenagers. It's not like it goes altogether away. It's always back there somewhere, right?
17-year-old. Well, they're 25-year-old people playing 17-year-old people.
Exactly. So, they sold it pretty well.
Yeah, for the most part.
I wasn't, maybe Nick the douchebag, he seemed like he might have been a bit older, but the rest of them looked like they could have been 18, 17, 18.
Sure, yeah. Sure.
You sound skeptical.
Well, I don't know. How much of this movie? I guess we're just gonna ruin it. Like, the Anna is, as you said, an angsty teenager who wants to take a year off. She apparently is brilliant. Like, she's got.
They keep telling us.
Yeah, they keep telling.
Yep.
And so she wants to go to Australia for a year. And her dad.
She's very pretty.
Yeah.
I kept thinking of her, as discount Anne Hathaway.
Mm-hmm.
Because she had a bit of that look. But I'm not sure that Hathaway's got the voice, the chops that this girl does. But
musically speaking, there were some bangers in there.
I was going to say.
Surprisingly good for, like...
Well, I wanted to ask you that because you came out hard on the first movie and said, I'm going to go out and say this is the worst of the three. Still feeling that way?
No, I think they're tied. This was a perfectly serviceable movie.
Yeah.
I think it was missing some of the people have said like, oh, this is a mix of Shaun of the Dead and La La Land, and I'm like, well, I don't know, like it was missing some of the mirth of Shaun of the Dead. Like, it just wasn't as playful and inventive, maybe.
Yes, I think you're probably right. I don't think that they have this. They had quite the sense of humor that Shaun of the Dead had. Shaun of the Dead poked some fun at the tropes, and also the musical aspect kind of gets in the way of everything.
Yeah, diffuses it a bit.
Yeah, but I kind of understand them trying to make it into a musical, and in all honesty, the musical parts of it were a bunch of fun, so I didn't mind that. But
listen, I can see the sales pitch for this. Like, someone went into a movie, went into a movie executive, and it was like, it's Shaun of the Dead meets High School Musical.
Yeah,
there you go.
Actually, this was made after they did a short film.
Oh, did it?
I think that was, and you
like
see,
proof of concept kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't. it was probably like a pitch. Like they made it and
Maybe
then they put it out there,
or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, and it was like, well, let's go ahead and expand this into a feature length film.
Did you watch the
Guess
short?
how much it made?
I've got it all up.
Okay.
The
thing I saw was $673,000.
Let's see. I have Box Office Mojo up. Box Office Mojo made $673,000 worldwide.
There you go.
Yeah. How much was it made for? That's the question.
I imagine pretty inexpensively. 100,000?
Yeah, there was some practical effects.
Yeah, but it was mostly kind of makeup effects. And, spoilers, this was the thing that we had the most fun making fun of.
Yes.
Is that apparently the zombie virus turns your skeletal structure into essentially...
pudding.
Yeah. They were killing... one guy was killing zombies with watermelons.
Yeah.
With melons.
Yeah.
They took a mop.
A teeter-totter knocked a guy's head off.
I know. They took a mop and with the dull end of the handle, they poked it through a guy's head. I'm like, that's a weak-ass skull, like eggshell style, for that mop handle to go through. But, we were just enjoying the movie, so we weren't judging.
Yeah, no. We were judging.
We were, yes.
Yeah.
But, and forgiving. Judging and forgiving.
Yeah, of course.
So, was it anatomically plausible? No, in no way.
No.
In absolutely no way.
No.
But that was fine. Plenty of, gore, and very early in the movie. So when the zombie apocalypse started to happen, it's very much a Shaun of the Dead scene. I don't know if you remember the Shaun of the Dead scene. We do. But Shaun leaves his house to go to the corner market to get something. And
it's the exact same thing that happened to him like the day before.
Right.
Same path, same kind of people, but it's all like he's so like
wrapped
clueless
up,
to the universe that he doesn't realize that there are actually zombies around.
Yeah, they're all around him. Things have changed in subtle ways to show that something very bad is going on, and he's completely clueless about it. In a very similar sense, when Anna leaves her house, the morning of the apocalypse, she's decided to, I don't know, she's got a brand new bag. She's decided to be optimistic.
It's a brand new day, sun's shining,
and it's a great song that they do, and she goes down the street and
mayhem behind her.
Yes, and at one point as she's dancing along and
killing
babies,
shredding them.
A zombie attacks a woman who's got a
stroller, a pram,
and it gets knocked over, and the lady just runs off and leaves the pram. And we were like, "Is there a baby in that pram?" And the next thing you see is a zombie in the pram and just like gore flying up in the air. And Pat was like, "They went there. I can't believe they went there."
I did not expect them.
Exactly.
I was not expecting it.
Yeah,
but they did.
That was a bridge too far, man.
Yeah, it soured me on the whole movie.
I never could come back from that.
No, I look. I was. This movie was. It just was missing some of the magic.
Yeah.
Right. I kind of like the idea of a high school musical zombie Christmas movie.
But you think it needs to be... I would think it needs to be a little more of the top. Like the zombies would occasionally join into the musical.
Dances, yeah. Or they had their own musical happening in the background.
Exactly.
Just something. Like them doing the Thriller, the Thriller dance in the background.
You needed them to sort of to break out and then become a part of the musical magic of it all, rather than... I mean, they're always zombies.
Yeah.
So
it's like this movie couldn't figure out whether it was trying to be campy or serious. Because...
Well, and in its own defense, the musical numbers were really good.
Absolutely.
The dancing was good. The performers had great voices, and the songs were bangers. I mean, they were good.
Yeah.
No Such Thing as a Hollywood Ending.
Yeah.
Was a really good song. So I feel like that became the focus of it, right? Like that's what they were really all about is this is a Broadway show.
Right.
This was
built for the stage.
This was made for theater kids.
Yes, of course.
So,
and they had a blast.
Right. But I felt like that, it would have been nice if they had kind of watched Rocky Horror Picture Show a few more times and kind of channeled, the tongue-in-cheek aspect of, because that's a send-up of horror movies as a musical. And Well, best not to try to dissect Rocky Horror Picture Show, man. God knows how that thing
No, that's
ever
not on the
became...
same plane with what we're talking about.
No, it wasn't. But once again, I'm not sure when that came out. It was... I mean, it was probably a complete disaster when it came out.
It was, yeah.
And just people realized, like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. So we just need someone to come up with Anna and the Apocalypse and sort of the in-theater show that goes along with Anna and the Apocalypse.
Yeah, the stage play version of this would be fantastic, I think.
The problem is it's not bad enough to warrant doing that. This isn't The Room, you know, where you have to, like, come up with jokes to make it more entertaining.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so Anna...
But we could.
And one of the other issues I had with this, Anna didn't seem to be, like, the protagonist. It was, like, a group of people, and she just happened to be among them.
Right.
And so they picked her because it was, you know, alliteration with Apocalypse.
Well, I can understand because there's a kind of the focus, because she is legitimately the hot girl. Her best friend, John, is in love with her.
Of course.
But he's in the friend zone. Solidly. Like, not even... Here's the thing. You root for him through the movie, but it becomes... it never became obvious until, spoilers, he gets bitten.
Yeah.
There's no...
In the dumbest possible way.
Yeah. So here's the thing about this movie. No redemptive arcs. You know?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I don't... there's not... It's very...
The douchebag wins. Douchebag wins.
I know. It is a very two-dimensional storyline.
Yes.
Like, yes, does Anna learn that her relationship with her father, like, hating him because she wants to go to Australia rather than university,
and he wants her to go to university.
Right. It's no reason to ruin your relationship over something so trivial. And it takes a zombie apocalypse for you to learn that.
Yeah.
I guess...
Especially in a culture that is absolutely attuned to gap years. There's no problem in the UK with people taking a gap year. Like, it's almost an expected thing.
Gap year? Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. And so...
No, but I can understand her father being a little bit hesitant because she wants to travel to Australia and hike around the coast of Australia. And she's a young woman.
Yeah,
a very attractive young woman. Yeah. So, you know, as a father, I would be like, fuck no. If you want to take off a year and work and earn some money, I'm more than happy. But you just want to go off. Have you seen American Werewolf in London? Are you sure that you know what's going on here?
Well, not only that, but you're like, good Lord, who's paying for this? Right?
Right. Wait, have you seen Hostel?
So yeah, I think you've kind of nailed it though. That not only are there no redemptive arcs, every one of the characters is kind of two-dimensional. You get a description of what their motivations are supposed to be, but they're not. They never feel earned or real.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, they're very stereotypical characters. So there's Anna, who we're told is really smart and always figures out what to do. We don't really see this in practice.
Yeah.
But, okay. Then there's...
Most of the time she's using the blunt end of the pointy stick.
Yeah. But it takes her more than halfway through the movie before she actually picks one up. Yeah. Right? Everybody else has to beat monsters in the head for her.
With watermelons.
Right. Effing watermelons. and a game controller. Yeah. Like, one guy's weapon was a game controller on a cord. Now, he used it to wrap it around a zombie's legs and pull his legs out from under him. But still, that was a little like, what are you going to do with that thing, man?
I think you want a ranged weapon rather than a melee weapon.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the guy with Nick with the bat, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
So Anna is super smart, we're told. And then there's Steph, who is an American exchange student who is the token lesbian. Then you have John, who is the best friend pining for Anna, of course.
Of course.
And he's cute and funny, but kind of a wimpy nerd.
Yeah. And,
the hope in most movies is that she's going to realize that
he's the one.
He's the perfect guy. Yeah. Doesn't spoilers. Doesn't happen. I thought
there's opportunity.
Yeah. I thought some shit was about to go down, and nothing. It doesn't go down. No, and then there is Chris. I think is the AV.
Chris is the AV guy that's in love with Lisa.
Lisa's a hottie, who
does an entirely inappropriate dance
Christmas song. Yeah. about unwrapping somebody's package.
Sliding down the pole.
It was a great song. Yeah. It was a great song. And she had her little helpers, like all the young men from high school dressed in shorts, like Chippendale dancers.
Absolutely.
It was a fun bit, and the parents in the crowd were great because they were like, some of them were like, yeah, and then others were like, what is this? You know?
Yeah, it went beyond double entendres.
It might have been a quadruple entendres. Yeah.
And then we have Nick, who is of course the douchebag.
He's the douchebag. He's the bully. He doesn't get his, and in most good zombie movies, the douchebag gets his.
Yeah.
Nick gets away.
He might get the girl.
He probably going to get the girl. What the point of that is, I have no idea.
Yeah. Listen, and like I said, the worst.
He had a minor, and it wasn't a redemptive arc, but he had a humanizing moment where you find out that his father turned into a zombie and he was forced to kill him.
Yeah.
But he was such a dickhead the rest of the time, and so finding out that you killed your father. I'm still not forgiving you for being a douchebag, man.
He was a douche from the
get-go. It's not redemptive at all, yeah.
And I think they were trying to do some of this where we're not going to tell you. We're just going to we're going to jump into the middle of the story. So you will find out over time that Anna and Nick used to date, and he was a dick, and so she broke up with him and all this. But it's shown by him being a dick. And her staring at him longingly across the cafeteria.
Well, he makes,
and he's sitting there doing
he makes, not moves exactly, but he makes reference to them getting back together, them getting together. At first, you don't know whether it's getting back together or it's just him being a douchebag and hitting on her inappropriately.
Right.
And she's just like, I'm not having any of this. But there were a couple in the very first time they're in the lunchroom. There were a couple of people who made like her friend Lisa, Chris's girlfriend, was like, he's such a dick, I don't know why anybody would ever want to be with him. Oh, sorry, Anna.
Yeah. While she's staring at him like,
so
you are seeing him, right?
Yeah, it's becomes clear.
Have you seen his six pack?
No,
maybe if you saw his six pack.
We didn't get to see his six pack. Yeah. No. There was nothing for the ladies in this. They didn't take any of the clothes off.
No. And so, they and once the shit start going down.
And let me say too, these are slow zombies.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not fast zombies. There were a couple actually in the first scene where she's dancing down the street and not saying anything.
Pudding skeleton don't it don't carry a fast zombie.
Your legs shatter if you start to run.
That's
you have to shuffle. That's what you have to do.
Right.
But there was some indication of fast zombieism in that first scene.
Yes.
It just never played out through the rest of it. But
and so Anna and John realize there are actually zombies at the end of their shared musical number about what a great day it is. in a playground, they get chased by a zombie that was in
Frosty the Snowman.
And the effect was pretty good. The face of the snowman had been ripped out and his face had been kind of ripped up.
Yeah.
And so the zombie is kind of chasing after them. And of course they're doing the stupid thing and put him right here.
Yeah.
And she pushes the teeter-totter and it knocks the guy's head clean off. Clean off.
Yeah,
if nothing, the costume should have kept the thing on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The costume.
Well, the headpiece wasn't connected. It was only being held on because of his head being on his body. So when that came off, because his skeleton, his vertebrae had essentially become pudding.
Yeah. So
pudding zombies.
They got to have some fun little pictures of him on the ground.
The problem with this is when your skeleton has become pudding. I mean, your teeth are pudding. So how do you bite anybody?
You don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like
fingernails ain't pulling out any viscera.
No, when they bite, their teeth just collapse into pizza stains.
Maybe it's less pudding. Maybe it's more eggshell skeletons.
Maybe that might.
So there's a
pierce the
little
skin.
bit of structural
Integrity.
You can have a little bit of structural
That
integrity.
protein matrix might still be partially intact.
It's like an ostrich egg. It's thick enough that you could feel like if you poke it really softly.
That's right. It's like dinosaur
break.
skin, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not buying it.
And so
when that mop handle went through that guy's head, I was just like, "There's no way, man." Yeah.
Well, Anna and John go to
the bowling
alley, which was called
Balls, Thunderballs.
Yeah, Thunderballs. And so they run there.
And they didn't have a budget to actually put that sign up, so that place probably was actually called Thunderballs. Yeah. Somewhere in Scotland, there's a bowling alley called Thunderballs.
That thought this was its big break, as seen in
the Apocalypse. So, now, of course, after the zombie apocalypse, the lights partially went out, and the thunder part wasn't lighting up, so it just said balls. Balls.
Yeah. So they, Anna and John run to Thunderballs, where they run into, is it Steph and they ran into
Chris?
Steph and Chris, because Chris and Lisa were separated at this point.
Yeah. So the Christmas show was the prior night. Steph had asked Chris, who is AV, he's the audio-visual kid in school, to come with her to film something.
She was super into the homelessness problem in Scotland.
Which they all became zombies anyway, so you don't know. You know what she should have been? The problem she should have been really focused on?
Zombieism?
The fact that she had the only car in town. Like there were no cars anywhere.
And the dick of the principal of the school is like,
keys.
You park on school property, it becomes school property.
And I don't
know if that's the transitive property. I don't think that works. I don't know how that math
I don't know how that works. Plus the fact that there are no other cars, so there's all these parking spaces. It's not like I'm taking places away from anyone else. Because no one else has any cars in town. There's no cars.
Yes.
Pat's wife was like, why don't they just get a car and leave? Yeah. Well, because there are no cars.
Yeah.
We started watching.
There were some, when Nick and his buddies came out, he danced on one of the cars.
That's true. He danced on a car or two.
But that might have been Steph's for all I know.
And when they were leaving, when Anna was leaving her house and dancing about what a wonderful day it was.
Backing up.
Yeah, there were a couple cars backing up. So I think the full count of cars, there were 6 cars in that town.
Well, this movie didn't have car budget.
Exactly.
We
can only afford for Nick to dance on one car and ruin the hood of it. Yeah.
So yeah, they the 4 of them end up at
bowling alley.
At the bowling alley. And
they sleep in the ball pit where the kids pee.
After,
why would you do that? I mean, just come on, man.
Yeah, but after their whole idea is the military clearly is going to come in and save everybody.
Right.
We just have to be safe until the military comes in. And then they're in the middle of the night, they're looking out the window and bombs are dropping all over the city. It looks like the Blitz.
Yeah.
It's just, and I think they realize, maybe the military isn't coming for us after
This
all.
is how the military is coming, yeah. They're coming with bomb dropping.
Well, military's going to militarize, right?
Well, and that's the thing, being in the bowling alley is not going to save you from missiles.
Yeah, it's not like they know that you're in there.
Yeah.
They just know that there's zombies everywhere.
I don't know, man. It's a bad move.
so they decide
I kind of like the, what is it, Zack Snyder's, where they put those shipping containers all around Vegas.
Yes,
that's a lot of damn shit. That's a lot of damn shipping.
Wall.
I think New Haven, which is the name of this town in Scotland, I don't think you need nearly as many shipping containers as around that place.
Maybe that's where all the cars were.
Yeah, exactly.
They stacked them up.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
So they decide they've got to get out so that they can get to the school. Listen, it takes them a full day to get across town to the school. How big is this fucking Scottish town?
Well, apparently.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, because how did they decide? They decided they had to get out, and what did they do? They took
the ball pit and turned it upside down on their head, right? Because if the zombies got close, they would just drop and they would just look like an upside down ball pit.
Yeah, these were dumb zombies.
Yeah, super dumb. Yeah. Well, but one of them sat down on Steph's head and had to pee.
Zombies pee. This is really updating the myths.
Well, it could have just been fluid, like escaping from a crack in the shell.
Yeah. Well, it was warm.
In the pudding bones, you know?
Yeah.
You know, all that.
If you sit down on something...
if your bones turn to pudding, all that mass has got to turn into something. I'm going to say it's going to turn into some kind of liquid.
Ooze.
That's
the
right.
secret of the ooze.
That's right.
So yes. So they end up being saved.
That's when Nick, the douchebag,
and his two buddies, who have been looting. They've been looting.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, why would you? Like, just stay where the goods are. Yeah. Like, close the door and stay where that stuff is.
Because they're bullies, and there's nothing more fun for bullies than killing
zombies.
Like, it's a what's the word? It's a repercussion-free murder.
Violence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not even murder. You're killing.
It's the dream.
You're killing for a good purpose.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys were born to be in the military.
Yeah, but, Nick was like, oh, I see a couple of dames with a couple of useless males. Do you want us to protect you? We'll protect you.
Yeah.
And he's got a bat. And his buddy's got a watermelon. And the other one's got a
video game controller.
Yeah. Weren't there 4 of them?
Yeah, the other one had knives that he put in between his hands like Wolverine claws.
So stupid.
I know.
So dumb.
You're just going to cut your own hands, man. As soon as you try to stab somebody, they're going to slide back.
There's nothing wrong with holding the knives.
Yeah.
And plus, what are you going to do? You got to get real close up on a zombie.
Well, these zombies were pretty damn useless, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude with the watermelons legitimately killed multiple zombies with those watermelons. So, you know.
So, yes, there's the 4 of them, and they take out a bunch of zombies while they're doing a...
That's where you feel like the movie kind of realized how ridiculous it was.
Of course.
But it just... I don't know. It was not tongue-in-cheek enough for you to be
there
like...
wasn't enough of that.
Yeah.
Like, someone could have said... Did you just kill a zombie with a watermelon? Like, how does that work?
Exactly.
Like, just a little bit of a meta conversation.
Yeah, and he would have been like, oh, well, they're not ripe yet.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Put a few jokes in there, man.
Just something. Like, add like 10 more minutes to this movie of those kinds of conversations, and you could add something really special, I think.
And if the zombies start dancing around when Nick sings, you know, his soldier song.
Yeah.
Why not? You know?
Like we've realized that, like, you know, that's playing a bit too much into it. Like, this is a musical in the purest sense. Like, nobody acknowledges that they're singing. It's all just singing. Like, they break into song. Mm-hmm. Like, if somebody in the background had seen the zombies like doing this and been like, oh man, singing, yes, you know. So
that's how we control them.
Yeah, we make them walk towards the cliff. There's got to be cliffs around here somewhere.
They're like musical lemmings. That's what they are.
And so Nick saves Nick and his 3 goons save them and decide, all right, we've got to protect you. We're going to get you to the school because maybe that's where other people are. Like,
well, Anna's on her way there because her father's there. Her father is the custodian of the school, so she knows he's there. So she wants to go there to reconcile with him and make sure he's okay.
And John wants to go there because that's where Anna will be.
Yeah, and Nick wants to go there because that's where Anna wants to go.
Yeah, and Steph wants to go there because that's where her car is.
Yeah, yeah. So it all makes sense.
Yeah. Well, Chris wants to go there because Lisa is there.
He thinks, he's pretty sure Lisa is there.
Yeah, right. And his grandmother.
His grand.
Yeah, grandma.
Yeah.
Who's very nicely had a heart attack and has not become a zombie.
Did not become a zombie, yeah.
And so...
I wonder if she got bit after she was dead, if she would come back to life as a zombie. It's hard to know. You need the manual for every zombie virus because they're all different.
Because the blood wouldn't be pumping to circulate the virus, right?
I don't know unless your body well, who knows? Maybe maybe they're mushroom zombies and the mushrooms it just grows throughout.
You make perfect sense.
It's so logical.
So we've completely skipped over the other storyline, which is the school storyline.
Right.
Where the principal...
Whose name is Savage, by the way.
Yeah, Arthur Savage, who is... got a glorious beard. Like... Unkempt Scottish beard.
His hair also unkempt.
He definitely looks like he's straight out of How to Train Your Dragon.
You know what he looked like? he looked like he was in witness protection. You know what I mean? Like he's like, I'm in this movie, but I don't want to be recognized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it worked. It worked for him. I was like, who is that guy?
Yeah, and he's the dickish principal who is like trying to protect the people. Like he's like, this is my little fiefdom. You've come here.
But that's
like you have to do what I have to say.
He's not trying to protect them. He's trying to rule his fiefdom. Yeah. It becomes very clear that that's really all it's about for him. He doesn't really give a crap about any of them.
The spoiler: he ends up loosing the zombies on the school population.
Yeah,
and because they didn't do what he wanted them to do, like he, so you know,
in a zombie movie, it's hard to know.
Do you have to have a human bad guy in a zombie movie?
You can know, but it's a small. That's a smaller scale villain sort of thing,
right?
But in all honesty, it's entirely legitimate in a zombie movie.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't even the principal. I think he was the vice principal because he kept talking about next year when I'm the principal.
Right, right. I think that was the thing. This was the moment where he was gonna take over and show his thing.
A power hungry middle management. There's nothing worse than that.
Well, sometimes the best villains that pop up in these zombies movies are the ones who show their colors. You know, that's the whole point of it.
Well, spoiler. Yeah. I mean, he is a villain.
He locks himself behind the metal protective grates in the lunchroom in the kitchen area and just releases the zombies on all the people hiding in the school. Yeah.
And of course, Lisa and Tony is Anna's dad.
Right.
They somehow survive. But everybody else kind of gets turned. Right?
Pretty much.
But everybody else that was there was kind of a background player anyways, right?
Yeah.
It's the two penguin guys. And, you know, all the guys in the short shorts.
But they were memorable characters because of their dance routine during the Christmas show. It was fantastic.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, listen, the soundtrack to this movie is probably not very bad.
No. I thought it was... I couldn't tell whether this was supposed to be like a Christmas pageant thing or a Christmas, like, talent show. Like, they... Right. You get the impression that Vice Principal Savage was not...
He didn't approve these songs.
Yeah, he was 100% aware of what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Lisa's Sexy Christmas song, very suggestive.
Yeah.
Very nicely performed. He did not do any quality control on this deal, man.
She was 3/4 of the way through that song before he even got mad about it.
No, I think he got mad early, but he was all the way up in the booth. He couldn't get down there to stop it. So I think he was kind of like, how do I stop this?
Listen,
I'm just going down there.
You pull out the lights. You do, like, there's stuff up. There's important things in the booth. All right, so anyway, that's the end, but we've still got Nick and his dicks and Anna and John and Steph and Chris who are trying to get to the school and decide they have to take a shortcut through...
What was it called?
It was
Reindeer's Christmas Tree Emporium.
Yeah, and it's a big...
It's a warehouse.
It's a warehouse full of Christmas trees.
In a town...
By the way, it's December 23rd.
Yeah.
In a town of maybe 3,000 people?
It seemed like 40. Like 40 folks living there.
Unless this is a distribution center for all of the other... This was the storage yard for the trees that we know.
This was Amazon's Christmas tree warehouse here.
Well, it's not even that. These are the trees that we know are not going... Like, these are the Charlie Brown trees. They're not going to sell. Like, they're
pretty nice
wonky,
trees, too.
But, like, of course, they have to cut through this in order to get a shortcut to the school. Whatever. Sure. Fine. At that point, go around this building.
You sure you don't want to reframe your decision that Four Christmases was the worst of the movies? You sure about that?
I'm getting there. We still haven't watched Hot Frosty. It's all up in the air.
That's true. But
everything's up in the air.
I think we're aware that Hot Frosty is going to be absolutely fantastic.
Hot Frosty is going to be absolutely bonkers. I hope that Hot Frosty is off the charts bonkers. Becomes our Christmas time Hubie.
It's just going to be a standard... Hallmark rom-com. We're not looking for anything better than that.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I want to see Julie Bowen threaten to throw a cat at somebody.
I know.
That's what I want to do.
I know. That could be in every movie. I'm a little disappointed it wasn't in Craven.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so they make the decision to save 2 minutes by not going around this building and going through it.
Yeah, even though you're going to go through a warehouse of trees, like everything could be hiding everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Those trees are specifically designed to hide presents. You know what I mean?
That's how those trees were designed. You know the designers of those trees?
Yes, exactly. Listen, my logic is as sound as the logic in this movie.
That's right.
Like,
do you know how many tree engineers worked on this?
Let's not pick nits.
No, I mean I think your point is valid. They weren't engineered. They were chosen for this purpose.
Of course,
yes, exactly.
You know, there's 1,000 trees in this building that, like...
I like the tree that's sort of a triangular shaped and grows its boughs all the way to the ground. That's the best for hiding presents, right? Yeah. Scientific, logical.
Yeah, so let's hide them in a dark and dingy
warehouse, which will only enhance their ability to hide zombies. Yes, but this is where we should go. We should go in here. Yeah.
And so, of course, they start going in this. And, you know, there's supposed to be a jump scare that's not really a jump scare. What was it, like a mouse or something? Right?
No, it was a little, wasn't it a little,
a gnome.
Yeah. And they were like, oh, it's just this sort of mechanical gnome.
This is what was making that very weird sound in this.
And then suddenly zombies came out of everywhere.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And so they get separated and, you know, it's just so stupid.
And Nick's 3 bully boy buddies, they all get bit.
Yeah.
And they come after Nick. And
yes.
Nick, of course... He's so upset that his buddy's got. I mean, he's still a total douchebag.
Yeah.
There's not been any really redeeming qualities.
Was this where John got it too?
Yes. Well, they get out of the Christmas Tree Emporium, and then yeah, and then he's having a conversation with Anna, and he makes a very expansive gesture where he throws his arms wide. And his hand comes out around a corner, and there's a zombie right there that bites him on his hand.
Yeah.
Don't be expansive, man, when there's zombies around.
Yeah, keep tight.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay to your core.
That's right.
Yeah, it's all about core strength in that instance. You got to stay tight.
Yeah.
So, you know, of course, he knows that he's about to die. And all I'm thinking is, like, you cut that arm off quick enough, you might save him. Like,
no, they don't have any weapons for... That dude already lost his Wolverine knives.
Yeah, this is also where she picks up, like, going into the Christmas Tree Emporium is where she picks up her candy cane.
It's a candy cane with a spike on the end for putting it in the ground.
Yeah, it makes sense. You want to spike it into the ground.
Yeah, but
she keeps hitting folks with the
Those things are made of plastic. This thing was like a lawn dart. I mean, you know.
That's what she should have been doing. She should have just been skewering people.
Yeah, it's a death machine.
Nah. Like, what the Shaun of the Dead scene would have been her skewering a couple of people and them, like, working their way down around the bend and going the other way. You know, that's what would have happened.
Exactly.
Like, just something silly like that. Like, they get, the zombies get all perplexed because they're coming down towards you and the thing forces them the other way.
They needed a little bit more usage of common everyday items, like killing a zombie with a snowblower. You know,
sure.
They got a little creative in the bowling alley with stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the most fun when John kills a zombie by picking up 2 bowling balls and sandwiching his head in between them. Okay, I'm buying that.
Yeah.
Even your
practical effects too.
Yeah, your skull does not have to be pudding for that to work.
That's true.
That could totally work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's some bold shit for John to be pulling that crap.
Yeah.
For him to turn into a giant, like, wussy later on and not be able to actually do much.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, keep the bowling balls, dude.
That's what I would be.
Yeah,
because you could just throw them at them and pick people up.
Windmill arms, man. Windmill arms. The bowling balls.
Hey, windmill arms is very keeping with a musical too.
Exactly.
The hills are alive with the sound of bonk bonk.
Of jazz hands.
So they eventually... So John is dead, and all that's left are Anna, Steph, Chris, and Nick.
Mm-hmm.
They end up getting to to school,
right,
and realize that Principal Savage is a dick. Like, such a dick.
Well, they knew he was a dick, but not the extent of it. Yeah,
well, they also separate because they say, Steph, you have to go and get your keys.
Yeah, we need your car.
Yeah.
It's the only car in town. There are no other cars. We need your car.
And so Steph and Chris...
Of course she has a car. She's American.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, she gets to this town, New Haven, Scotland, and it's like, it's weird. No one has a car. And she's like, I gotta have a car. I'm American.
Yeah, I got a car.
We have to have a car.
And it's full of guns.
Yeah.
Come on. Like...
Haven't you seen Crossroads with Ralph Macchio? Man ain't got no wheels.
So Steph, Chris, and Lisa are now back together. They go on the journey to get Steph's keys.
Right.
And
which were taken by Principal Savage and are in his office, which is pretty expansive. I guess that's
it's like a teacher's lounge.
That's a teacher's lounge, right? Yeah.
And
it's full of zombies.
And they're doing very quiet. They're being very quiet.
Right.
And they go and she finds the box where all of the stolen goods are. Of course, there's a dildo in there, and there's a
Well, she finds a liquor bottle which didn't get used. That would have been a nice Molotov
throw
cocktail.
That thing and, yeah.
But
there was a lot of Chekhov stuff in there.
I know that didn't end up being used.
Well, one Chekhov's thing very early on was eventually used.
Oh, Pat was very keen on the vibrator. He was like, it makes noise. Throw it like a grenade, and the zombies will chase it because it makes noise, right? Yeah. I was like, great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I know a vibrator.
I know the use of a vibrator as a distraction.
Wait a minute.
But
I like where that conversation's going.
Yeah, Chris and Lisa discover that Chris can use his phone to play a video on the TV and distract the zombies.
The TV that they are standing behind.
Yeah, they get behind it so they can plug it in. Yeah.
So stupid.
They should sneak out. And once again, this is stupid. This is when Chris's battery decides to go dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, then the zombies key in on the two of them. And
here's the thing. There was no internet. Why didn't you turn your phone off? There was a scene where he kept
videotaping.
He was filming. He's an AV dude. He was filming stuff. So, but... Yeah. To
document maybe what we should do is we should see.
This should have been a found footage movie. Yeah.
So they Chris and Lisa get got.
They get got,
and they realize they've been got, so they're going to have one more feel down.
And it's very, it's very intriguing that the zombies after the bite lose interest. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, okay, I gotcha. I gotcha. I'm not even gonna bother anymore now that I gotcha.
It's like the laziest game of tag ever.
Exactly.
No, you're done. You're part of the horde.
Yeah, exactly.
One of us. And so
I'm not really hungry anymore.
So Chris and Lisa do some over the clothes stuff.
They're very respectful.
Yes. And given her musical number, I was expecting more, quite honestly.
Yeah, well.
So they turn. And so now the only people who are left are Anna, Steph, Nick, Arthur Savage, and Tony, who has not come back yet. Yep. We don't know where Tony is.
Yep.
This is where Nick, Anna... Well, Steph is not with Anna and Nick.
Right.
Anna and Nick find...
Well, Chris and Lisa got, and Steph got her keys, and so she took off to go get her car. So we lose track of her for a second. Yeah. We go back to Anna
and Nick,
right?
Who stumble upon Tony and Mr. Savage.
Well, Nick got separated during the fight in the cafeteria. Like he sacrificed himself, but he ultimately... Spoilers, he got away without getting by.
He wins this.
Yeah, because the one you really want to get through and not get hurt is the douchebag. Yeah.
Well, do
you think they were trying to be subversive with that?
I don't know.
Because it's just once again, that's a bad idea. Like, read the room, man.
Yeah.
Nobody wants the douchebag to we want John to make it through.
Yeah.
We want
Chris and Lisa to survive.
We do.
We want a little bit of Lisa dying. She gets bit, and Chris has to decide, am I staying with Lisa or am I going? You
Right.
know? And he gets bit because he decides to stay with Lisa.
Maybe something like that.
Instead of them both getting bit about the same time.
But we want Nick to get it, and we want John to step up and protect Anna. Or in all honesty, I'm fair. Anna can step up and protect John.
Or both of them back to back, swinging stuff.
That's right.
Fine.
But Anna at some point realizes that John is a catch. He's not just my goofy best friend who I'm not even who's so friend zoned. You know, he might as well be a Ken doll. You know,
he's got his own zip code.
Exactly, in the friend zone.
Yeah, but no, they're being subversive.
He's been elected the king of the friend zone. So.
So Nick is going to be the one who survives, and so Anna is on the hunt to find her father, and she finds him conveniently being held very tightly by some tinsel.
He's roped up with tinsel, which as we all know, cannot be broken.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Really. That stuff will give you a paper cut.
Well, in Violent Night, I think they tied up Santa with tinsel.
No, I think it was actually like a strand of lights.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. It's hard to break a strand of lights, man.
Yeah. But I mean, she didn't have any. Like he just stood up and she kind of shook him, and they all fell off. You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah.
So this is where Mr.
I have to
Savage
say,
gets it.
just the overall quality of this was a step above a student film.
Yeah,
but then there were elements that were like, come on, man.
It was like 80% there.
Yeah, it was.
80%.
It was so close.
I mean, the music's fantastic.
The music was really fantastic.
Yeah.
The
acting
dancing
was actually fairly decent.
The acting
was all right.
I thought the acting was very good, and the dance scenes, the choreography was fantastic. It was just the little things, the little aspects where it fell down hard.
It did fall down pretty hard.
Yeah.
Like, I could almost see like the writers, whoever the writers are, smoking, like getting high and being like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna have the bad guy win. It's gonna be great.
Nobody will expect that.
Yeah. Shaun of the Dead can suck it. So
I don't think that's what they were thinking at all.
So of course Anna finds her father.
Right.
And Nick finds Anna and her father. And her father gets up and ends up fighting with
Savage. Vice Principal Savage.
Right.
Or
right.
Junior Principal. I don't even
know.
And
they are on the stage of the cafeteria. And it's barricaded. So there's zombies in the crowd. This is probably
the auditorium. This is probably where the Christmas show was.
Yeah, exactly. It was exactly where the Christmas show was.
Vice Principal Savage had put up speakers and stuff to make kind of a fence.
Yeah.
I don't know how this would stop these zombies, in all honesty.
Well, no, because they got no strength. You can't pull off.
Oh, that's right. Their skeletons are made of pudding. I forgot. Yeah.
Eggshell.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
So, and this is absolutely because this is where Chekhov's Big Starry Night comes into play. So
earlier before the zombie apocalypse, during the Christmas rehearsals, somebody accidentally released this big Starry Night ornament that came swinging down and almost hit Vice Principal Savage and knocked him off the stage. So we were like,
that's coming back.
That's going to play a part later on. And so,
they could have taken out a whole horde of zombies with that thing, by the way.
It was far too heavy to be a normal ornament for a stage show with high school students.
So, yes, of course, Anna's dad, Tony.
And, those pudding skeletons.
Oh,
that thing would have just destroyed them.
It would have rolled through them like
I know.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
They would have splattered like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
All right, so Anna's father and Vice Principal Savage get into a tussle.
Yeah.
And Anna goes and releases the thing, and it knocks. I actually kind of expected him to be impaled, but it just knocks him into the horde.
Yeah.
And they had some pretty good
he stage dived onto the horde.
Yeah. Back he was nest in it.
Yeah, and they caught him.
Yeah, they caught him. They bring him down and they're just tearing him apart. And so
one once again, clearly these guys watched Shaun of the Dead.
Of course, yes. This was the last. This was the.
This is the disembowelment.
Yeah.
Denouement. This is the disembowelment.
And so, of course, we've got...
I like to mix this denouement in there anywhere.
Yeah.
Denouement?
Denouement.
Denouement?
Yeah. And so this is where Anna and her father get to have a heart-to-heart, because it turns out that he's been bitten on his ankle during the tussle. And so they know that he's going to turn. And so he gets to tell her how proud he is of her and how she's going to do great things in the world and she can go to Australia if she wants to. And all this. And I'm like, how is any of that happening? Like, nothing is
Nobody's
good.
going to Australia. It's a zombie apocalypse, man.
Yeah. Australia don't exist no more.
I know.
Although, how this happened, like, all the zombies popped up at the same time. All over the place.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting. I think the government's in there. And so Anna and Nick fight their way out of the school and are in the middle of the parking lot. And it's the hopeless. It is the hopeless situation. All they have is a bat and like other like very dangerous things against a bunch of pudding heads.
This is when your wife is like, "Why don't they just get in a car?" I'm like, there are no cars in this town. There's not a single car anywhere.
Yeah,
you know.
Look, there was like two zombies at a fence on the other side. You just go and poke them through the fence with the bat, and you can climb over.
Yeah.
You'll be all right. Like, it'll be okay. But yeah, it's the hopeless event until Steph shows up with her car. Yes.
The heroine.
Yes. And so they climb in and...
Or hero. I'm not sure what her pronouns are, in all honesty, but...
Yeah. But Steph shows up with her car. They climb in and they're like, where to? And scene.
And scene. Where are we going to go? And then they have the closing credits where they show all of our favorite characters as zombies, sort of like wandering around or just looking...
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Lisa and Chris plaintively touching hands as they shamble by each other.
Yeah, their cataract eyes. Like, they're all zombified. And, yeah, it was a very weird, like, uncertain ending where they're like trying to be
the Graduate ending.
Yeah, they're like trying to be really optimistic. Like, yes, we're out of here.
Win.
Oh, we're on a road trip. But, like,
where to?
Where are we going?
Because, spoiler, the military's been zombified in this movie. Like, they're like...
Well, that was clearly the C team, you know what I mean? Like, they were the worst of it.
That was the blunt end of the spear.
I was just like,
they sent those guys.
You guys are all kitted out, and yet you still all got bit? How did that happen, man?
Like, you've got weapons, but...
and they're slow zombies. Kids with watermelons killed these zombies, and you did not do shit. What happened?
I don't know. I mean, I think you nailed it right on the head, which would have killed every zombie in this movie. Mm-hmm. You nailed it right on the head. Like, there's just no character development. Like, everything's two-dimensional.
Yeah.
There's no character arcs.
It was really just about getting the musical numbers in, really.
And some practical effects.
Yeah.
And I think like I said, I think it's about 80% of the way there. Like,
did you...
this is hard for me to say because, like, did I enjoy this film? I thought it was fun to watch while we were watching it, but it's not a great film. It's not it doesn't deserve to be on, like, the top 18 horror, you know.
Well, I think it's on the top 18 Christmas horror movies because there's not a lot of Christmas horror movies. Yeah.
Well, maybe, but like, it's worth watching for the musical numbers, and the practical effects are pretty good. But just don't expect, like,
you know how many Christmas horror movies there are?
18?
15. There's 15 of them. So so.
Yeah. If you count some of those, like, thing that happened in the snow.
That's what I mean. There's 4 Christmas carols on there because there's ghosts in that. It's a horror movie, you know?
Yeah. So the thing happened. Well, technically it's not a Christmas movie.
No, you're right. They put the fucking thing on there. It's not a fucking Christmas movie.
Well, it was in the cold.
There was snow.
Yeah.
It happened in June, but it's got snow.
All right. So anyway, it couldn't have happened in June.
Why not?
Because there was still light out. Like, Antarctica in June would be entirely dark.
Okay, well...
It had some semblance of day and night. But it did not happen in Christmas, because then it would have been nothing but light.
Yeah.
All right, anyway. How did I get derailed?
Science. It was science. Science derails
it always derails.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, this movie. Is it worth watching as a kind of an event? Yeah, sure. But is it like you're not going to walk away from this being like? I feel like
unless
you're a theater nerd. If you're a theater nerd, you're going to be like, "This is the greatest movie of all time."
I feel like our rating should be worth a watch. Don't bother. And then something that is above all that, like
Dan Brown.
Dan Brown. Why not? Clive Cussler.
This is worth a watch.
Yeah.
I mean, we've watched some stuff that is not a don't bother, but like this was perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. About it.
I think I have to agree with you. I was less right on jumping the gun. I jumped the gun and said that the Poor Christmas was going to be the worst movie that we watched.
Poor Christmas wasn't bad at all.
I don't think it's a lot better than this, but it's better than this.
Yeah. It's a shinier turd than this one is. Yeah.
Just for Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. That guy, man, charismatic as he's as charismatic as a bad monkey.
Yeah. All right, Anna and the Apocalypse. What do you think, Tomotomer?
Worth a watch. Right.
So give me some numbers. What do you think?
Popcorn meter, 65%.
Okay. Tomotomer? You think the 65 is the Tomotomer?
Yeah.
That's the critic score.
Right.
Okay. People score. What do you give them?
75%.
All right, you got it backwards.
Okay.
Tomotomer, 77%. Popcorn meter, 63%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, the people are getting it all over the critics. Critics are dumb.
Yeah. The one bright spot...
Did you notice I didn't curse, though? I was going to say, they're effing dumb.
Yes. All right, so I did look this up on Common Sense Media.
Oh, tell me what Common Sense Media says. You know what? I think I know what it said. They did not like the way they represented Joseph and Mary.
I don't think I've ever... that's just mic drop. Like, why do I even come to this webpage anymore?
You could find some good stuff, though. That was so surprising.
All right, so this has 3 parent reviews.
Okay.
All right. Somebody age 16 gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Gore and musicals don't mix. I like the gore in this movie, but because it was a musical, it was more stupid than scary. The fact that this is a Christmas movie that is a gory musical makes it stupid.
You know what? I can't argue. You make some good points.
I like Christmas movies, horror movies, and musicals, but not combined. There is lots of graphic gore and lots of singing and dancing. They don't mix.
But how would we know unless they had made this movie?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Holy cow, this is a dissertation length. I cannot read that. That is ridiculous. Yeah.
Someone has no one to talk to.
Here's somebody named age 14. 5 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
I took my 14-year-old to see this, and we both absolutely loved it. It takes 3 genres that generally do not go together and creates an amazing story with awesome songs. I highly recommend watching it if you're teen or higher. If you're a teen or higher.
Yeah.
I would say I highly recommend watching it if you are a teen and high.
Valid.
So, not as funny, but listen, the music's worth watching.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like we said, some of the songs were bangers, man. They were good.
So, any last things to say?
No,
I'm really looking forward to Hot Frosty. I'm really hoping that we go out on a high note. Because so far this has been middling
I've actually enjoyed watching the movies, and these are movies that I would not. A
lot of it's just sitting there being laughing about these things.
A lot of these are not movies that I would have watched otherwise, but they're ones that have shown up on the radar. I've seen Anne and the Apocalypse like on lists and been like, yeah, all right. I wonder what that's all about. But would I have been able to convince my K-drama obsessed wife to ever watch any of these movies? No.
So what I'm hearing,
this
podcast has enriched your life.
It has enriched my life. I will say that. It could enrich your life too. Yes. Stick with it.
Yes,
but
as long as you don't mind how they portray Mary and Jess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's always a downer. Yeah, that never works out.
Oh my God, nerds, wrap it up.
All right, anything last thing to say since the dame has spoken?
No, I think that was good.
Yeah.
What a great flick.
It's
Worth a watch.
Listen, it is worth a watch. You know. All
Just,
right.
just so you can say you did. It's sort of in the same realm as A Boy and His Dog. You know, it's on a list.
Yeah.
We watched it.
Yeah.
We were like,
well, some of these movies on the list are bangers.
Yeah.
Like with Nail and I.
Yeah.
You watch that and you're like, yeah, I see why people say that's a great a great cult movie.
Yeah.
You watch A Boy and His Dog and you're like, man, there's some pervy shit out there. Jesus.
Exactly. I don't know who wrote this, but they need some help.
And then you see Anna and the Apocalypse and you're like, yeah, we've gone too far.
Yeah.
We need a zombie apocalypse.
Perfectly serviceable.
It was perfectly
I can't wait to
serviceable.
watch Stalker.
All right. we'll do January Stalker.
Yeah.
We want to start out with a Russian, bleak,
We should
alternative universe.
We should
world.
start our year with that. Then walking through
in a month that I'm not drinking.
A gooey
Lord.
landscape. Oh, are you really seriously doing every other month?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, I'm fine with it, but
I don't think you're fine with it.
I will join you. No, I won't.
You give up carbs. I give up alcohol.
I will drink only garbage beer.
All right, anyway, the dame spoke, so it is time for us to all wrap it up. As always, I've been singing while I kill a snowman.
Yeah, and I've been Joseph.
Bye.
You guys are weird.